Hello and welcome to Wine This Week with Scott Leak. As you can see, not my usual setting for this week's video. I happen to be in Napa Valley. Over my shoulder here you can see some Cabernet grapes being grown, and behind that the Mayacamas Mountains, which protect the valley. To the west, to the east of me, are the Vaca Mountains, and this forms a valley floor with 150 million years of evolution, creating a unique geology that is just fantastic for making great wines. Mostly Cabernet is found here, as are these grapes right next to me, but you can find some spectacular Merlot here in Napa as well. You can find it in France, you can find it in Italy, all over the southern hemisphere. Merlot is grown worldwide and one of the most planted grapes on the planet. If you've ever wondered why is it they don't grow grapes wherever it is you live, the answer is right behind me. So not only is Napa a great place because of the geography and the soil and everything that goes in with the climate here, what's really particularly important is what you'll see behind me. So right now, there's this morning fog. It is 7:30 in the morning, and it's been this way for the last 2 hours and will be for a couple more. So even though it's in the middle of June, it's been hot. You know, last week it was 100 degrees here a couple days, and here we are, it's low 50s, and the fog is help cooling all these grapes, and that's why Merlot and Cabernet grow so well here, and why it can't necessarily grow so well in a place like Omaha, Nebraska, for example. And one of the things that we're going to talk about in just a minute here is just how different Merlot can be in one place and how good it can be as well. So let's hear a little bit from my friend Kyle at Duckhorn Vineyards. So, we got the camera going. My man Kyle here at Duckhorn Vineyards telling us about 3 different Merlots. What is so special about these 3 Merlots? How are they different?
So, as far as the 3 Merlots go, ordered from left to right, all the way on the left is the Atlas Peak Merlot, sourced from a vineyard that we work with on Atlas Peak. It is 100% Merlot. It shows what Merlot is like without any, as you could say, makeup on. It is lighter, a little bit lighter, marginally lighter, brighter, very aromatic. Lends itself well to dishes that Pinot Noir can often go for, heavier bodied Pinot Noirs, which there are. You will find that overall the aromatic profile is brighter, very perfumey, and you also have the fact that the San Pablo Bay is closer to Atlas Peak than, say, for example, Howell Mountain, which is the second Merlot. The Stout Vineyard on Howell Mountain is all estate. We grow Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot there. It is 85% Merlot, 15% Cabernet Sauvignon. Has a little more of a brooding characteristic. Is typically a Merlot that I would slip to cab drinkers without telling them what it is, to really test, okay, can you enter the detect the variety characteristics of Merlot that you don't like?
Bordeaux style here a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the third is the mysterious, the ever-loved Three Palms Merlot, which is one of those Merlots that I simply say, if you can find a better Merlot made in Napa, please tell me, and I will go buy it blind. It is a classic Merlot, and I generally just say, try it and see what you think.
Oh, it's very light and just drinkable. And
yeah, the Atlas is the lightest of the 3. That perfumey characteristic. You're moving heavier still with the Stout, and then with the Three Palms just has this vibrant fruit, and the tannin is just holding up the fruit so well.
This has got a layer of complexity that's beyond what
it is. There used to be 2.5 palms, but then once the 3rd palm grew up, there was 3 palms originally, but as I understand it, one of the palms died, and they had to replant it. For a while, you had palm.
These are awesome.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Appreciate
it. All right, I'll give you some time alone.
These are awesome. I didn't get into the weeds very much as I was tasting wines this week. I didn't really get into the scoring and the food pairings, partly because those wines were way more expensive than I'm normally drinking and keep on hand in the house. Number 2, I was just kind of enjoying the moment. I was out there. It was beautiful outside. I was with my wife having a good time. I didn't want to spend too much time on my videos. And then the other thing is, that particular day when I was at Duckhorn, I did about 30 different wine tastings. Not that many places, but I tasted about 30 different wines that day. And when you're outside a lot of the times, at least for me, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint particular aromas and flavors when you've had that many wines and you've been outside where you got some other elements that make it a little bit more challenging. But overall, I had nothing but fantastic Merlots that week, and the Duckhorn ones in particular are just some of the best you're going to find in anywhere. There's one thing in particular that he brought up that I wanted to really point out here, and that was when we were having the second Merlot, the one from Howell Mountain District, that's a wine that he will share with people who say, I only drink Cabernet, and they might not necessarily know they're not drinking Cabernet. That's how closely related these two grapes are. As I mentioned in my Bordeaux video, these two grow side by side there, they grow side by side in Napa, and they are actually siblings. They are both from the parent grape, Cabernet Franc, and so they have a lot of genetic similarities. They're going to exhibit some similar traits. So, like Kyle said, the Merlot can be a wine that if you love Cabernet, there's a good chance you're going to like good Merlot as well. And it doesn't always have to be high-end stuff. Duckhorn's got a number of different levels of Merlot. Their low end to their high end varies quite a bit, and you can go to different places too. So the next day after we shot that video, we were over in Sonoma, and I went to one of my favorite places there called Thumbprint Cellars. I got to spend some time with the winemaker himself and talked about his Merlot, and he does it for less than the Duckhorn Merlot costs. You can get great values of Merlot out of Washington State, out of Central Valley in Chile, Stellenbosch in South Africa, Hawke's Bay in New Zealand. The list goes on and on as to where you can get good value Merlot. But I do encourage everyone to give it a try if you haven't done so before. It might just surprise you. I asked a lot of the places we went to, what do you wish people knew about being at a tasting room? So I encourage you, if you've never been to wine country here in Napa or down in Santa Barbara, up in Willamette Valley, Oregon, or Walla Walla, Washington, wherever it is, get out, meet some winemakers, meet some people in the tasting rooms, have some fun, spend some money. They need our help. 2020 was a really tough year here in Napa, where they had 2 fires. A lot of places lost their entire crop because of the smoke damage and the fires. So let's get out, let's buy some Merlot, let's buy some Cabernet, support these businesses. But for this week's tip of the week, I do want to talk about something I learned, because I asked specifically from all the tasting rooms I went to, what do you wish people knew going into doing a tasting? What are some do's and don'ts you'd want passed on for people? So number one, things are different now because of COVID and just we're in the busy season. You need to make a reservation. The days of just walking into a winery are pretty much over, at least for the time being. So number one, make sure you're making a reservation. Number two, when you do go in, and this was something that was really strongly impressed upon me, do not wear any scents. Do not put on perfume, do not put on cologne, don't put on any scented lotions. Those smells are not only going to most likely ruin your experience being able to smell and taste the wine, but if you're indoors in a tasting room, you're going to possibly ruin a lot of other people's as well. So that was the number one don't do that was recommended. In terms of something that they encouraged us to all do is don't go in and say something like, well, I only like sweet wines, or I only like dry wines. If you have a sentence that has the word only in it, you're missing out on a great opportunity. Open yourself up to, let the truck pass there. Open yourself up to new things. You are in the hands of pros. This is what they do. They have fun with this. Let them have fun with you. You are going to have a much better experience if you let yourself be open to try new things and enjoy all the wines that they have to offer wherever you're at. Thank you for watching another episode of Wine This Week. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a fun one for me to shoot and hopefully a fun one for you to watch as well. Join me next week. I don't even remember what the grape is. It doesn't matter. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing. It's pretty much all I care about right now. Until then, keep trying new wines, and as always, cheers.
Let's see. Now, what am I going to say? I'm not going to say any profanity. I'm not going to say
I can-
anything about
I
the
can-
University of
I-
Nebraska Cornhuskers. When was the last time they were good?
Ouch.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
going in the out.
That
That's
used
going
to
in the
be
outtakes clip.
terrifying, and now it's like it's unfortunate.